All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Blessed be our Father, Yahuwah Elohim Almighty. Blessed be the Ruach HaKodesh, the Messiah, Yahushua Mashiach. Greetings, Yazarel. This message I'll be doing today will be entitled, contrary to Shahid, Bolsen's Condemnation of the West, all nations are under Yah's wrath. And I'll be coming out of the Old Testament pseudepigrapha, the fourth book of Ezra. And I'll be closing out with the Law Scriptures, the Apocalypse of Peter. And just to put a little music on the scene.
Deliver me from mine enemies, O my Father. Defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity and sin.
Good to come before everybody once again.
Hello. They lie in wait for my soul, the mighty are gathered against me, not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Father. They run and prepare themselves without my fault, awake to help me, and behold, thou therefore, O the Most High, the Father of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressor. They return that evening, they make a noise like a dog, and go round about the city. Behold, they belch out with their mouth, swords are in their lips.
Somebody shared this with me in my community parts. I'm just not seeing it. The Most High is the Most High is my defense. The Most High is my defense. It's by a guy named Jamariel. I was listening to it a little earlier when I saw it. Whoa. And I thanked them for sending it. I didn't even know it was there. It's been there for a month. Sometimes I don't scroll down, but I do it more now so than I have in the past. As far as like the community part thing. A lot of this stuff I'm just learning as I go along, family, I'm like Fred Flintstone when it comes to that electronic stuff, this digital age. I still don't know how to do a lot of stuff, And my son is like, he's too busy to show Papa things, but that's all right. I get by. He always call me when he needs something, though. but that's all right. That's okay. That's all right. Okay, family. Now in this message right here, Yah is talking to his people. He's speaking to the prophet Ezra in the first part, and then he's talking to the apostle Peter in the second part. But it all coincides together. Yah is speaking to the man Ezra. That's also found in the book of 2nd Esdras, the fourth book of Ezra. The same scriptures. So he's telling Esdras, to tell his people what he intends to do to the nations who have been killing his people unjustly, and that their blood is still crying out from the ground up to heaven to him, and that he will avenge the blood of his chosen people because of what the nations in the world has been doing to us. And so as far as this guy named Shahid Bolsen, I first, heard him speak. I think it was last year. I heard him, it sounded like he was intelligent. So I said, okay, let me see what he's got, what he's trying to share. But the guy, right when you're on the edge of your seat, and you're thinking he's finna bring home the point of what he's talking about, he leave you hanging. He never get down to the nitty gritty of who he's specifically talking about, as far as like when he talks about the West, what the West has done to the indigenous people, and he'll say something about the natives and stuff like that. And then he's mostly advocating for the Arab nations, about them trying to decolonize from the Western nations, the Western European nations, and America, of course. Okay, so he beats around the bush a lot. That's why I don't listen to him no more. You know, because he never brings the point home. So he don't want to be thought of as a nigger lover. That's why he never tells the people who's listening to him that the chosen people of Yah are the so-called Negroes in America and around the world, and they are truly the Israelites. He never get to those points. He had you on the edge of your seat, like when I first used to listen. That's okay, maybe this guy, okay, he sound like he know what he's talking about. And then while you're on the edge of the seat, like you're watching a movie that's a thriller, and the movie is steady getting to the good part as you watch it more and more. It's just like his conversation, his speeches, but he never bring the point home. He leave you hanging. If you're an Israelite, he always leave you hanging. He never get down to the nitty gritty of who he's specifically talking about. He leave you guessing, wondering. So people like that, you know, he's got a lot of worldly knowledge, but that worldly knowledge, no matter how much he has or anybody else in this world, it ain't gonna bust them pearly gates open in heaven for you. You know what I'm saying? He's advocating for the Arab nations, and he's always condemnation talking against the Western nations. But I'm here to say, this guy, Shahid Bolsen, you know, 800 years before the transatlantic slave trade, you know, before all that started, you know, with the Spaniards coming from Europe in 1492 to overtake the 10 tribes of Israel who were already here for thousands of years before they even knew this land even existed. But they knew Israelites was over here. That's why he brought Hebrew translators with him, Columbus did, when he came over here. You know what I'm saying? But centuries before that even happened in 1492, the Arab nations was coming down to the continent of Africa and buying Israelites, Negro slaves south of the Sub-Saharan desert. That slave trade is also called the Arab slave trade. It is also called the Islamic slave trade. It is also called the Sub-Saharan slave trade. Okay? So all these things the Arab nations was doing to Yah's chosen people before the Western nations even, you know, was able to take over Europe, because the Moors, who are also Israelites, were in control of Europe during the Middle Ages. You know what I'm saying? So Shahid Bolsen, he's always talking about the West and condemning the Western nations about what they have done to the indigenous people over here in America and how they colonized the world's nations. But before that all took place, the Arab nations was brutalizing, kidnapping, rape, robbing, murdering Israelites south of the Sub-Saharan desert. And there was Africans, Hamites was selling Israelites to the people in those Arab nations. And many tens of thousands of our people are still in those in the continent of Africa and all those countries spread out. The tribes of Benjamin and Levi. And we are all over the world. Okay, so, you know, he's talking about Yah has judgment coming against the Western nations for them colonizing the world's nations. But I'm here to say to Shahid Bolsen and anybody else who listens to this video, our people Israel, and speaking to Psalm 83, now the whole world is under the judgments of Yah. And you will see that in this message. It ain't no hate speech. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no hate speech at all. I did not author the scriptures. I'm just reading them. This is what Yah said to his man, Ezra, at the time, and told him to tell Israel this is what he intended to do to the nations. And the word was supposed to be spoken to all the world's nations. When Yah gives this word to a man or a woman of Yah, it's to be spoken to all the nations. Whether they like it or not, he raising us back up so we can tell his truth. Because they ain't going to tell the truth. They talk about everything else. People like Shahid Bolsen and these other leaders in the world, they talk about everything else. And they never talk about, you know, the chosen people of Yah. But see, that's what's on Yah's mind. This is what's on his mind. We are important to him in this world. Because of what the nations has done to his people. He's got judgments coming against all these nations. Not just the West, but the whole world. And the more you brutalize and rape and rob our people, you know, those nations going to get it the worst. And the ones that he spare, they're the ones going to be serving us. Okay, family. And then when it's all said and done, when we're in our glorified bodies, you will see in this message also that he will allow us to see those who hated us in torments, as they will see us in our glorified bodies. That will be at the end of this message. But don't miss any of this video, family, because it is a blessing for every Israelite who tune in and those who are trying to cling to us. You know, but for the Psalm 83 nations who hate us and have been brutalizing Yah's chosen people, Yah's judgment is against all of you guys throughout the world, not just the Western nations, the whole world's nations, all the world's nations. Every nation who has brutalized and hated his people, Yah's judgment is against all of them. And I'll start reading from the book of the Old Testament Pseudepigrapha, the fourth book of Ezra, chapter 15. And it says here, the Adonai says, behold, speak in the ears of my people the words of the prophecy which I will put in your mouth, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are trustworthy and true. Do not fear the plots against you, and do not be troubled by the unbelief of those who oppose you. For every unbeliever shall die in his unbelief. Words of Yah. Verse 5 says, behold, says the Adonai, I bring evils upon the world, the sword and famine and death and destruction. For iniquity has spread throughout every land, and their harmful deeds have reached their limit. Therefore says the Adonai, I will be silent no longer concerning their ungodly deeds which they impiously commit, neither will I tolerate their wicked practices. Behold, innocent and righteous blood cries out to me, and the souls of the righteous cry out continually. I will surely avenge them, says the Adonai, and will receive to myself all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led like a flock to the slaughter. I will not allow them to live any longer in the land of Egypt. But catch this, family. We know that Egypt is just a metaphor for bondage, okay? But I will bring them out with a mighty hand and with an uplifted arm, and will smite Egypt with plagues as before. He said as before. This ought to let you know, everybody who's reading this or listening at this, this ought to let you know when he says as before, when he smote Egypt with plagues as before, okay, he's talking about somewhere else now. He's just using Egypt as the metaphor. He's talking about the world, because I read up here in verse 5, it says, behold, says the Adonai, I bring evils upon the world. That lets you know he's talking to Ezra to say these things to the world's nations. The world has done these things against his people, as I continue, and will destroy all its land. Let Egypt mourn, there we go again, the metaphor, and its foundations, for the plague of chastisement and punishment that the Adonai will bring upon it. Let the farmers that till the ground mourn. That's what farmers over here are doing now, because Yah is using Trump to get rid of all illegal people out of the country who was working for the farmers. Now the farmers don't have them workers no more, because Yah is clearing the land of people. And now the farmers in America are mourning. See, these scriptures are happening now, family. They're happening now. It's talking about right now, okay? Because their seed shall fail and their trees shall be ruined by the blight and hail and by a terrible tempest. That's real strong wind. Tempest. See, Yah has his angels controlling the winds. That's said in many scriptures. Alas, for the world and for those who live in it, for the sword and misery draw near, and nation shall rise up against nation. What is Russia doing to Ukraine? What are the United States and Israel, the state of Israel, doing to Iran? Bombing it to shreds. So I'm saying all this stuff is going on now. You know what I'm saying? As I continue. For the sword and misery draw near them, and nation shall rise up to fight against nation with swords in their hands, where there shall be unrest among men. It's a lot of unrest in the world now. People know something crazy is going on, but nobody understands what really is going on. except you're listening to the ears of these awakened Israelites who are teaching Yah's word. You know what I'm saying? Judgments of Yah, that's what's going on, has already started in the world. You got people making videos and stuff talking about they work and stuff and still can't make ends meet, and people just crying and crashing out and just, you know, melting down and everything. You know, people are doing these things. You know, people who never had these kinds of troubles before and now are the ones really suffering. They don't understand. That's a lot of unrest in the land. These things are happening now, family. Well, there shall be unrest among men, growing stronger against one another. It's growing strong against one another. That's what it's doing. They shall in their might have no respect for their king or the chief of their leaders. Most people in America don't have respect for Trump, but those people are the ones who voted for him. You know what I'm saying? See, these things are happening now in the world, and they're only going to escalate. And a lot of people who always used to live hound to hog and in a bed of roses with their picket fences and stuff, the American dream, those days are never coming back no more for these people. You guys are on the cups, you know, of your blessing is over. You're coming down to the curses, and Israel is being risen back up by Yah and the Ruach HaKodesh, and we're coming into our blessings as you nations, Psalm 83, are coming into your curses because of what you have done to Yah's chosen people. Listen at these scriptures. Okay? For a man will desire to go into a city and shall not be able. A man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. You got ICE and federal agents rounding up all kind of people from other countries in the America. That's happening now. People want to go to other cities, but they're being hunted down and sent back to their own lands. This stuff is happening now. Why? Because of what the world's nations has done to Yah's chosen people. You'll see even more of that as I continue. For a man will desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay, for because of their pride, the city shall be in confusion. You see a lot of that going on. Houses shall be destroyed, and people shall be afraid. A man shall have pity, have no pity upon his neighbors, but shall make an assault upon their houses. People do home invasions all the time. It's just escalating more and more with the sword and plunder their goods because of hunger for bread and because of great tribulation. But you see, a lot of people don't understand why them black people just won't say nothing. They so quiet. That got them all messed up. See, Yah has his people in chill mode, and I was looking through the statistics of the major cities in the United States just earlier this week. No, last week. It was coming toward the end of last week. I did this just a couple of days ago. And I noticed that in every major city in the United States, going back from 2020 all the way to now, 2026, most major cities in the United States, the homicide rate has spiraled down. You know what I'm saying? Like a city like Chicago in 2021, because of COVID also, they had over 800 homicides or 800 murders. And then in 2022, it was down to 700 something. 2023, it was down to 600 something. 2024, it was down to 500 and something. 2025, they only had 400 some homicides last year. So you, in just 5 years, 4 years, they went from 800 homicides to 400. Why is that? You look at cities like New Orleans, Cleveland, DC, St. Louis, those major U.S. cities who used to have homicides rates that was like up through the roof, but all of them are spiraling down. You see them, and a lot of that is because of Yah and what he is doing to his people in the lands over here. He's in control of everything. What he's doing, he's taking the sword out of Israelites' hand toward each other. And that's why a lot of this stuff, these murders and stuff, this violent crime over here and probably around the world. I ain't checked the statistics around the world, but Brazil have more murders than America every year. It's probably happening over there too. But see, a lot of things are happening that the people from the nations are like, are melting down and, freaking out and losing it. But Israelites are on chill mode, and this is all Yah's doing. because we're coming into our blessings and they're coming into their curses. And you'll see that according to scriptures. You'll see that according to scriptures as I continue. Now, verse 20 to 27. Behold, says Elohim, I call together all the kings of the earth to fear me from the rising sun and from the south and from the east, from Lebanon, to turn and repay what they have given them. And repay what they have given them. Listen up, family. Just as they have done to my chosen people until this day, so I will do and will repay into their bosom. That's what this message is all about. His judgment is not just on the Western nations, it's on all the world's nations. You hear it when I just read it. Because of what they have done to Yah's chosen people. But the people from the nations, they don't want to hear words and messages like this. They say it's a hate speech. You know what I'm saying? But that's their problem. But Yah is raising Israelites up to tell the truth to the world. Whether they want to hear it or not, they're getting their warning from his people. Because they talking about everything else. Dudes like Shahid, Bolsen, he's talking about the liberation of Islamic nations and Arab nations from decolonization from the West. You know what I'm saying? Man, y'all going down too. Y'all going down with the Psalm 83 ship when our Messiah gets back here. You don't see me waving no flag or waving no pistol talking about I'm finna shoot anybody down. So how can you call this a hate speech? I'm telling you what the word of Yah is saying to the nations. Because of what they have done to his chosen people, they all got judgment, retribution, and recompense coming. Not just the Western nations, like Shahid Bolsen is saying. As I continue, thus says the Adonai, Elohim, my right hand will not spare the sinners, and my sword will not cease from those who shed innocent blood on the earth. And a fire will go forth from his wrath, and will consume the foundations of the earth and the sinners like straw that is kindled. Woe to those who sin and do not observe my commandments, says the Adonai. I will not spare them. Depart, you faithless children. Do not pollute my sanctuary, for the Adonai knows all who transgress against him. Therefore, he will hand them over to death and slaughter. For now calamities have come upon the whole earth and shall remain in them. For Elohim will not deliver you because you have sinned against him. How have they sinned against him? We just read that they have not kept his commandments. And we also read because of what they have done to his chosen people. We keep telling you, we Israelites, keep telling you people that you will be judged by how you treated Yah's chosen people, whether you like it or believe it or not. This is how you will be judged. How you treated us. And most of y'all just keep the hate going. But to your own detriment. You will see if you pay attention to the whole message. As I continue. Now I'm jumping down to verses 34 to 45. Behold, clouds. Now we know Yah has placed mighty angels over the four winds of earth. So they are the ones controlling the winds. You got angels who cover the oceans. They control that. When they have counsel with Yah, and it's time for Yah to hand down judgments against the nations, he give it to the angels who are over these things that he's placed them over. It's up to them what they're going to do. Okay, Angel Uriah, you, the angel over this, how you going to take out these sinful people on the land? Or you might say, well, I'm going to cause a great big hurricane to come up in the ocean and send it across the land, and it's going to touch everybody who is meant to be touched. And then he got other angels who control the wind, and they cause these F5 tornadoes to go through areas and just wipe out everything. And you look and you say, wow, it looked so nice before. You know, why did that happen? And then people got to rebuild, and some people get killed. But see, Yah knows what's in the hearts of everybody. He said, if you hate, a lot of those people hate his chosen people. So he knows what's in everybody's hearts. You can't hide it. You know, racism. They got sundown towns all over this country, even in 2026. So he have his angels whip up them F5 tornadoes, F3 and 4 tornadoes, go through lands and just wipe them out because they're full of hatred toward his people. The judgments of Yah are on all the world's nations. As I continue. Okay. They shall dash against one another and shall pour out a heavy tempest upon the earth, tempest, strong wind, and their own tempest, and there shall be blood from the sword as high as a horse's belly, and a man's thigh, and a camel's hock. And there shall be fear and great trembling upon the earth, and those who see the wrath shall be horror-stricken, and they shall be seized with trembling. Jumping down to verse 40. Okay. And great and mighty clouds full of wrath and tempest shall rise to destroy all the earth and its inhabitants, and shall pour out upon every high and lofty place a terrible tempest, fire and hail, and flying swords, floods of water, that all the fields and all the streams may be filled with the abundance of those waters. And they shall destroy cities and walls and mountains, the judgments of Yah. These storms, these hailstorms, the wind blowing like crazy, hills, trees of the forest, and grass of the meadows, and their grain. And they shall go on steadily to Babylon. Okay, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. See, they don't understand it, how much Yah loves the apple of his eye, Yazarel. These nations, they don't understand it. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to hear nothing we have to say when we telling them the truth. Just like Pharaoh didn't want to hear nothing Moses and Aaron had to say. When Yah was telling them what to tell him, he was just hardened. His heart was hardened. But Yah was doing this because he wasn't going to let him just up and let the Israelites go. Because Yah had a bone to pick with Pharaoh. He caused him to have a hardened heart because he wanted to bring the judgments down on him and the Egyptians until he destroyed the Egyptian army. And that's what he did. And a lot of these people in this nation, they don't understand the power of Yah. They taught in them Sunday churches, God is just all love. No, he can't do that. But he destroyed our people when our people came up and didn't walk in obedience to him and his word and keep the covenant that he started with them in the wilderness at Mount Sinai. They threw our babies to alligators in Florida. You know what I'm saying? They raped our babies, women, boys, girls, and the men. He did it to our people when we fell off and didn't keep his covenant. You think he gonna spell Psalm 83 nations who don't keep his commandments and they hate his chosen people? The scripture says they got it double coming. And you'll hear some of the scriptures that says that in this message right here as I continue. They shall come to her and surround her. They shall pour out the tempest and all its wrath upon her. Then the dust and the smoke shall go up to heaven, and all who are about her shall wail over her. And those who survive shall serve those who have destroyed her. Okay, jumping down. Now let me go down to verse 56 to 59. Check this out. What our Father is telling Ezra to say to the world. As you will do to my chosen people, says the Adonai, so Elohim will do to you, and will hand you over to adversaries. Your children shall die of hunger, and you shall wail, and you shall fall by the sword, and your city shall be wiped out, and all your people who are in the open country shall fall by the sword. It happened to our people, and now we're out of our curses. And the nations don't understand what's going on, all this unrest and stuff like that. And people just can't seem to make ends meet. And everything that seemed to work before, the free money they was getting monthly and stuff like that, all that has stopped. Now they losing it. But see, Israel, the so-called Negro, we never got that. And we still held it together. There hasn't been a hard time invented that we can't handle. All praises to the Most High. But he has turned back to us with the Ruach. I'm jumping down to chapter 16, fourth book of Ezra. And it says, woe to you, Babylon and Asia. Woe to you, Egypt and Syria. Gird yourselves with sackcloth and haircloth, and wail for your children, and lament for them, for your destruction is at hand. The sword has been sent upon you, and who is there to turn it back? A fire has been set upon you, and who is there to quench it? Jumping down to verse 9. Adonai Elohim sends calamities, and who will drive them away? Fire will go forth from his wrath, and who is there to quench it? He will flash lightning, and who will not be afraid? He will thunder, and who will not be terrified. The Adonai will threaten, and who will not be utterly shattered at his presence. Jumping down to verse 13. For his right hand that bends the bow is strong, and his arrows that he shoots are sharp, and will not miss when they begin to be shot to the ends of the world. Behold, calamities are sent forth and shall not return until they come over the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out until it consumes the foundations of the earth. Just as an arrow shot by a mighty archer does not return, so the calamities that are sent upon the earth shall not return. Alas for me. Alas for me. Who will deliver me in those days? You see, and now I'll be going over into the book of the Lost Scriptures. The Lost Scriptures, the Apocalypse of Peter. Chapter 13 and 14, small chapters. See, they don't want to hear it, you know what I'm saying? The, what is it called? I heard a brother speaking the other day on this. Cain's last will and testament to his children. They love one another. They hate Israelites. They love robbery. They love lewdness. They hate the masters, which is Yazarel. And they do not speak the truth. And the truth that I'm reading out of Yah's word, they hate it. But that's their tough luck. We Yazarel, we love it because we have suffered the curses by disobedient ancestors. And now Yah has turned back to us as he said he would. But we will come to remember ourselves in the land of our captors. 2 Baruch chapter 2 verse 30. And all things will be brought back to our memories by the Ruach HaKodesh. And he is raising Israelite men and Israelite women up here and there around the world. And we are speaking his truth to the nations via social media outlets. And they can take it or they can leave it. We can't expect them to tell us the truth when they were still in their blessings. Everything they told us was lies. They never told us who we were. They set up Sunday churches. They had our people flocking in Sunday churches. And the leader, you know, they had him trained. As long as he kept the people in line, all the money that came in there went to the pastor, the bishop, the priest, or whatever they called themselves. I was in the ministry. I had a cousin who was a bishop. He told me all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And, but you sit in those places 30, 40, 50 years, and you still don't know who the heck you are. They tell you you're colored. Okay, you're holding that down for a while. Then they say you're black. You know what I'm saying? Then they say you are Afro-American. Then, 1988, Reverend Jesse Jack come up with the phrase African-American. See, that's when we was under our curse. We believed everything they told us. And so now that we have been awakened, and Yah has given us the Ruach HaKodesh, and now the truth is being revealed to us, and it's like, how could we ever believe those people who are the offspring of the slave masters who enslaved our ancestors? How could we ever believe that they ever told us anything that was the truth? The things that they taught us, it was to keep us in bad standings with our Father Yah, eating pork and the wrong foods, not keeping his commandments, not honoring his true Sabbaths. They knew exactly what they were doing. Because if we had been taught those things, we'd have never been on the bottom. We'd have always been on the top. And they knew that. So now we don't need to hear the lies from them no more. Now we have been raised up by Yah and the Ruach HaKodesh to speak the truth to the world's nations. All who want to receive it, but you better act on it. And try to do something for Yah's chosen people, because all the nations will be judged by how they treated the apple of his eye. And in closing, I'll be in the Apocalypse of Peter from the Lost Scriptures, verse chapter 13 and 14. And it says this: Therefore shall the angels bring my elect, and that is the 12 tribes of Israel, those who will be a part of that remnant, and righteous, who are perfect in all uprightness, and bear them in their hands, and clothe them with the raiment of the life that is above. That's when we'll be giving our glorified bodies. During that time, they shall see their desire on those who hated them. See, Yah's going to allow those who hated us to see us getting our glorified bodies as we see them in their torments. When he punishes them, and the torment of everyone shall be forever according to his works. And all those in torment shall say with one voice, have mercy upon us, for now we know the judgments of Elohim, which he declared to us before time, and we did not believe. And the angel Tetirokos shall come and chastise them with even greater torment, and say to them, now do you repent, when it is no longer time for repentance? Teasing them, and nothing of life remains. And they shall say, righteousness is the judgment of Elohim, for we have heard and perceived that his judgment is good, for we are recompensed according to our deeds. They're going to realize that they are in hell, and that's where they're supposed to be because of their deeds, because how they hated Yah's chosen people when they were on the surface of the earth. They're going to realize it. Everybody who's in hell right now, every soul that's in hell right now, they realize they where they supposed to be. And they wish they had another chance to come and do it all over again. You know, they know they're supposed to be there. And they know why everybody else is there. But once you die, it's too late for all that. Chapter 14 in closing, family, here it says here. Then I will give to my elect and righteous the baptism and the salvation for which they have besought me in the field of Acrojor, which is called Anastasia. They shall adorn with flowers the portion of the righteous, and I shall rejoice with them. I will cause the peoples to enter into my everlasting kingdom, and show them eternal good things, to which I have made them set their hope. I and my Father in heaven. I have spoke this to you, Peter, and declared it to you. Go forth, therefore, and go to the city of the west, and enter into the vineyard which I shall tell you of, in order that by the sufferings of the Son, who is without sin, the deeds of corruption may be sanctified. As for you, you are chosen according to the promise which I have given you. Spread my gospel throughout all the world in peace. In peace. Verily, people shall rejoice. People like us, Yazarel, we shall rejoice. But check this out. My word shall be the source of hope and of life for many of us. And suddenly shall the world be ravished. See, some people going to be in that ravished part. Those who hated and acted racist toward his chosen people all the while they were over us. Okay? But spread my gospel throughout the world in peace. Like I said earlier, you don't see me with no sword in my hand, no rifle in my hand, no pistol in my hand, talking about I'm finna kill all from Psalm 83. No, I'm just here raised up by Yah to deliver this word to everybody who want to hear it. Blessings for Yazarel, because we have suffered the punishment of our curses, and Yah is raising us back up to speak his truth and to receive his truth. But for those who hated us all the while, spread my gospel throughout all the world in peace. Verily, people shall rejoice. My word shall be the source of hope and of life, many of us. And suddenly shall the world be ravished. Let him not forget those. The world shall be ravished. For those who got judgments coming and retribution coming and recompense coming for how they treated Yah's chosen people. We're telling them now while they still have time, but just like Yah caused Pharaoh's heart to be hardened, maybe these people who won't receive this from us Israelite men and women who's preaching Yah's word, teaching Yah's word, maybe it's because Yah has hardening their hearts, because he have a bone to pick with them, just like he had a bone to pick with Pharaoh of Egypt. Okay, family, this has been contrary to Shahid Bolsen's condemnation of the West. All nations are under Yah's judgment. I'm Brother Judah Israel. I hope you got some understanding in Yah's precious name. So Yazarel. So until next time, may Yah bless you, your family, stay safe, one love, and all those who are clinging to us. Shalom.